Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your September 2015 love reading. It's Rena here, and I'm really excited to do these. This is the first month I've been doing all the signs, and it's really a lot of fun. So I'm basically picking 5 cards, and each one stands for a different thing, and interpreting them. Something I want to make clear about these readings is that they're most appropriate for people who are either single and looking and may have had unsatisfactory relationship after unsatisfactory relationship, or it could be someone who is in a long-term relationship or marriage that is unhappy. It is not for people who are blissfully happy, let's put it that way. So, which makes perfect sense, right? But some people who are single actually don't even care if they find someone right away or not. They're just happy living their lives. So those types of people probably wouldn't be attracted to love readings either. So this is why there's a lot of advice given in order to help people understand what they can do to attract the person that is right for them. These readings are samples in order to give you an idea of how I would do it in a personal setting. For clients, I ask for their birth data so that I can look at their natal chart. And this gives a much more in-depth understanding of their love nature, as well as possible transits that are going to occur in the next few weeks or months, things of that nature. So in any case, the first card that I picked is what is happening right now for Sagittarius who are looking for love, and I got the Empress card. Now this is a really nice card. So if somebody is looking for love, why would they be the Empress? And I can come up with a few ideas. First of all, the Empress is like an Earth Mother, someone who is kind of luxuriating in the 5 senses, let's say. And I think that, Sagittarius is such a freedom loving sign that it is possible that some Sagittarians, especially, let's say, um, men who are heterosexual, I should say, who are looking for women, maybe you're scared off by Empress types. Maybe that's all that you're running across lately. And you're like, I want a woman who is not interested in having a family or buying a home. I want somebody who is like a gypsy, like I am. And so you're kind of running across these more grounded types of people, and it's not for you. Or it could be that some of you women are acting like the Empress, but it's almost like a shadow side of it. Maybe you're being too, I don't want to say shallow or materialistic or anything like that, or clingy, because that is totally out of character for Sagittarians. But basically, Sagittarians have more than just a sun sign. You have a moon sign, you have a Venus and Mars sign, and I would look to your whole chart to see what your Venus and Mars are in. If they're in water signs, you might be more possessive than the average Sagittarian. Or let's say Taurus is a possessive sign, and Leo can be possessive. So if you have those signs in your moon sign or your Venus and Mars, then that can add a whole new dimension to being a sun in Sagittarius, or even some of you may be watching this who are Sagittarius rising. And so it's a little bit too simplistic to say that every Sagittarian is footloose and fancy free and is never jealous because we're human too. And did I say that I'm a Sagittarian, Sun in Sagittarius? I know that so many readers on YouTube are. It just blows my mind. But the Empress is such a positive card that it's hard to see it as being a deficit. So I have to look at what could possibly be a shadow side. Maybe some of you are always trying to nurture other people, and it doesn't seem to be a two-way street, and you always find yourself holding the short end of the stick, and you can't understand why you can't get the same type of treatment. Why you're the one who always seems to be caring, and other people always seem to be the takers. So, those are the only things I can think of offhand that might be creating the kind of situation you have where you're not in a relationship that is right for you. The universe wants you to know the Judgment card. This is one of those cards that suggests that you might need to make a choice that's very difficult. And for some of you that are in committed relationships, this is particularly the case. If you are in a loveless marriage and you are holding on for some reason that you know is lame and it's just really fear behind it, you might have to make that cut in order to have a fresh start, because this card can be making a new life for yourself. And when you do, you'll rediscover joy, because there are times when people are afraid to make changes, and then there are times when they just feel compelled to act. And this is one of those times that I think that you really will want to transform yourself to the point, and especially since, remember that Saturn is going back into Sagittarius this month on the 17th. So this is going to put even more emphasis on getting your life in order. And when you have a relationship that is past its expiration point, it can really drag you down in a myriad of ways. So I just would like to ask you to consider making that choice and deciding whether or not something is worthwhile. If you're single, it might just mean that you have to make a choice between potential partners, and that maybe some of you are playing the field and you're trying to have more than one person in your life. And this one surprised me with Sagittarius, because it is hard for us to settle down sometimes. And we're mutable signs, so it's easy for us to like different types of people and not, you know, necessarily be set on one exact person. But sometimes you have to do that in order to deepen the relationship that will eventually become very serious and secure. And then the next two, the other thing I wanted to say is that some of you might actually, the universe might be saying that you have to start um, court procedures in order to get your freedom. Maybe that's the difficult choice that you're going to have to make, and maybe you've been putting it off, but you know you have to do it. So the advice cards that I got, one is supposed to be just advice to you, and the other one is action to take. The advice is really a very, very positive card, and it's the Sun card. And this is all about enjoying life, just the essence of enjoyment in life. So, what that suggests to me is that maybe you've had your soul sucked out with a bad relationship, and you just can't remember when you've had joy, especially if you've been in a long term marriage or marriage from hell. It can seem like eternity, and you can forget how it feels to feel good. But this card is asking you to recall the times when you did feel like this, because you can feel like that again. And for people who are single, it might just simply mean feeling joy, believing in your worth as a human being. You might, feel so enthusiastic. And it's even like a card where you forgive yourself. So it's like a healing type of an energy. But it could be that you have some sort of breakthrough and you see your situation for what it is. And this could be true for married people as well. Anyone who is in a difficult relationship and maybe you've been kind of lying to yourself because you don't really want to deal with it. But also when you're single, and if you're wringing your hands saying, "Why am I single?" maybe you'll somehow have a revelation that will kind of tell you why that is. And it will be something about you that you understand now that you need to take care of yourself instead of expecting to find in other people. An action you can take, it says the Page of Swords, is like a real honest, open way of dealing with anything that needs to be dealt with. If you've done something wrong, then you are going to have to right that wrong. If somebody else has, then you have to expose what they are doing and call it for what it is. But you're using your mind to solve these problems rather than going off and being too emotional about it and creating drama. This is all just sheer logic. It's just being very direct and facing your problems. And the outcome is the Seven of Pentacles. For some of you, you might actually be seeing results from this that are like, in the early stages of a relationship, the growth process. If you are very straightforward about things, it also could be another question about choice. And it might be that you need to change your tactics, change your direction in life. Um, there's It's kind of like a period of reflection, actually, to see what is happening. And this is like, since this is an outcome card, it still means that there is probably future action to take um, after this period of looking at it's like taking stock in what has transpired in your life thus far in relationship to relationships, and that's actually a very good thing because it will make you more conscious in the future so that you can have the best relationship possible. So if you enjoyed this and would like a personal reading, just click on the link below and we'll do this. Okay, take care. Bye.